Hi everyone, welcome back to Ganimando. Today I'm analyzing another trailer. This time it's gonna be Minions: The Rise of GRU. So hope you like it and let's go into it. First of all, just notice the hand pose, how all the fingers, we can see all the fingers, they are spread apart a bit from each other vertically, and just like he's taking the thing very slightly, very carefully. So the detail. Also notice how the finger, when he goes to push with the finger, notice how it's a bit curled, and as he pushes down, how the finger also bends, so we can see the reaction of the finger pushing down the vinyl, or however it's called.
Welcome to the Vicious Six.
This is great as well. So notice how it's not just staying on the air, but we can actually see the anticipation going down and then boom, jumping up. So he actually jumps up, so he stays longer on the air. Boom. And we can see how the arcs creating on the arms. So he's not just moving the arms back and forth, but it's really exaggerated. So they actually look at the hands, how exaggerated they are, how bent they are. Look at this one as well. Look at the bembos. They have bent the arm a lot, so you get that line of action from arm to arm, and that fluid motion creating a visual arc when he moves them. See? As well, when he falls, notice how boom, the stretch happening. So you can see how the lower part of the body is falling down quicker, and the upper part of the body has moved very little in comparison. So you have that stretch and boom. So the lower part starts to fall, and then the upper part stay a bit longer and boom, falls. So you get more contrast in the animation by doing that. It exaggerates, it makes it more cartoony. Love this as well. Love the pose, how all the hands are like tense up a little bit from the fall. So it's actually on a posture like he's been broken almost. And the line of action, the silhouette really clear and beautiful. And you can see the breath actually. So if you pay attention to this part of the body, you can actually see him breathing heavily, like so it feels more alive. It's not just hit there on the pose, but and see how when he opens the eyes, he also opens the mouth. It's not just the eyes opening and the eyebrows raising, but there's the contrast. So the eyebrows go up and the mouth opens. So it's just a tiny bit, just a little detail.
Hello?
Same here. See how he gets ready, boom, 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 and see how he breathes in. So instead of just hitting the pose and that's it, you can see the slowing, his breathing, like a deep breath. And see how while breathing, you can see the eye darts, looking each one of them. And notice the eye darts are just like big spacing, so you have like big spacing and one frame of settle. So most of the eye darts are just gonna be 2 frames, one with big spacing and one with slowing, like a settle, but like just 1 frame. So you have very snappy eye darts.
Hello? Hello?
Notice the body posture, how well animated it is. So it's all really conveying the emotions and the situation. So see how he pushes the other guy's arm like that, a bit with the head rotated down. So it conveys like he's kind of protecting himself, just like taking it away from the path. Like I'm trying to go, and then he passed that, and then he ducks down. So he goes down, so he's like, I don't want to cause any trouble, just like trying to not be seen, but like everyone is looking at him almost, but like, don't mind me. See how first goes with the head. So here you have the head here, and then the head almost stays on the same place, and the body goes to the right, and then he moves to the right. So you have that variation. It's not just on the same perspective, on the same direction, the body is on the same pose, but you have that variation. First he leads with the head, and then he leads with the body.
Everybody here for the interview?
Great here as well. Notice the arc on the nose on the interview. So it's all well animated, like the character, the movements are well synchronized with the dialogue, but also notice the arc created with the nose. So the interview, so it's just like up and down and up. So you have that subtle creating an arc. It's for the interview. It's really well done. And notice also the fingers, how they spread apart. Like for the interview, they open a bit. For the interview, they open a bit and back. So you have that secondary action on the hands as well.
The interview. Me too.
Love it. Notice how when he darts down, notice again. In here is a big movement. So you have one frame where the eyes slow out with a very small spacing, then the big spacing, and then one frame where the eyes slow into the pose. So you have 3 frames for a big eye dart. In this case, one for a slow out, one for a slow in, and the big one in the middle. And notice how the head also rotates down. It's not just the eye dart, but the head rotates down as well. Me too.
So, what do you drive? I got a jet bike.
They're ready to see you, Mr. GRU.
Oh, good, great. Here we go.
I love the detail of when he lets go of the, I don't know what this is, a machete or something like that. When he lets it go, notice how the arm of the guy, it feels the weight of it. So actually the wrist, look at the wrist, is up, and then when GRU lets it go, just boom, the wrist falls, and you can see also on the elbow the reaction. So we can actually feel the weight of the tool, the weight of the machete. We can actually feel it just by seeing how the arm and the wrist reacts to it. See?
Here we go.
This is great as well. So notice how the first pose, great first pose, great line of action, exaggerated. So he's just trying to make a good impression. So he's straightened up, like he's trying to walk very good. So he's trying to impress them. So notice how also when he moves down the sweater, it's not just like moving it down and that's it. No, it's not just getting to this pose. Notice also how when he moves it down, it's going down and outwards. So you create that visual arc as well. So it's down and outwards, but then it's not just hitting that pose and that's it. But you also have the hands moving back and forth a bit. Get it as down as possible, like he's trying to look really nice. So it's not just one movement, but you have the readjustments on the hands. See, back and forth.
Distinguished villains, my name is GRU.
Love the hand pose. Notice how he grabbing his finger. So it just conveys a lot about his emotion, about his anxiety, about how he feels. Like he wants to impress them, but he's like nervous. So he's grabbing his finger. And also the arcs as well. Notice how not only the nose, if you track the nose, notice how my name is GRU, the nose goes to the right and left and right. So you have that visual arc. My name is GRU. My name is GRU, and down. So you are creating always visual arcs with the nose, but also with the hands. Notice how when the arms, when he says GRU, how the hands go down and to the right. So you have that visual arc as well. And the contrast, the movement in different directions. So you have that when he squashes down for the squash pose, notice how the hands go up. So you have that movement in opposite directions, hands and head, and then GRU. When he says GRU, the hands move down and the head moves up. So you again have that movement in opposite directions. So you have that feeling of a squash and a stretch of the different parts of the body, even though as well you have the squash and stretch on the body, but moving the different parts of the body in opposite directions adds another layer to the animation.
Name is GRU! Name is GRU! Name is GRU!
See the visual arcs, everything.
I feel like I'm talking too loud, even though our proximity.
Okay, this is great. So notice talking. I feel like I'm talking. Notice how they use this part of the dialogue to change the line of action. So he's not just always on the same line of action, but you contrast this from this straight line of action, and then as he's leaning forward, creating that line of action, they actually convey in a credible way the weight. So he's leaning forward, he's unbalancing himself forward, so he's actually gonna fall forward a little bit. So he quickly moves the 2 feet forward and then moves back. So you have that credibility. Weight is conveyed in a credible way.
I feel like I'm talking too loud, even though our proximity
the accent.
Proximity doesn't require this kind of volume.
I love how for the most of the shot he has the arms straightened, so we can feel the anxiety, we can feel the tension on his body. Although we have that variation, this moment where he actually bends the arms, but still close to the body, so we can feel the tension. The shoulders are still raised, and we can see beautiful hand poses as well. Notice how we can feel the arcs on the hands, how the fingers are not straight to the camera or just creating a straight line, but they're actually posed in a way so they create visual arcs as well. Great silhouettes. This kind of volume. See how the snappy motion, and then boom, and then the ease into the pose. So you have snappy and easing. Really nicely done. And see how
You seriously think a puny little child can be a villain?
love this part as well. Notice how they accentuate the dialogue. Like you can accentuate the dialogue in many different ways, not just by gesturing or by hand poses or everything, but with the whole body, with the face as well, with everything. So first pose, she's looking at him like, what did he say? So she's like a bit angry. Notice the reaction on him, like, whoa. Then she blinks like, let me tell this kid a thing. So boom, she gets up. Notice the peculiarity of how they animate a lot, like the shift on the shoulders. So she shifts a lot the weight from the shoulders and the hips. So you have that peculiarity of her personality.
You seriously think?
See how?
You seriously think?
See how? First, she's going up. So first, she's look at the look at the line on the shoulders. So the shoulders are actually pointing slightly down here. Then she places the arm, so the shoulders change the line, so they are pointing down this way. And then as she gets up, then the shoulders change again and the hips as well. We can see the hips now, and they change as well. and then again they change as well, and the hips as well. So for this character, you can see how they exaggerated that shift of the shoulders and the hips a lot. So that's a peculiarity of the character. So if you can find a peculiarity for your character, you can see how it adds a lot of personality to it.
Seriously think a puny little child.
Also the accents.
Think a puny. Think a puny.
A puny, not only the hand pose, like a puny little child, but the facial, like, see how she looks at him like up and down, like looking at him like with disgust, like, are you kidding me? Like a puny little child. It's not just staring at him, but you can see the eye darts up and down. So she's checking him out like, are you kidding me? Let's see, and up. Child, the accent on child. Child. The stretch on the pose, on the facial. You can see a puny little squash on the face, and child can be a villain. I love this part. Villain. You notice how with the blink, she's child, and then blink, and instead of raising the eyes again to the original shape, notice how they raise the eyelids just until here. So the facial changes with a blink. Many times the blink is the best way to change facial expressions. So you can see blink and change completely the emotion. Child can be a villain. Can be a villain. And notice the shake on the head, like, can be a villain, with like, a villain. Looking down on him. Like, are you serious? Can be a villain. The accent is accentuated. It's just not shaking the head for the sake of shaking it, but actually accentuating the dialogue.
Yes, I am pretty despicable. You don't want to cross me.
Love this. Love the acting choices here.
You don't.
You don't look. He points at him. You don't want to cross me. Trying to pretend, and notice how we can see he's even not kind of believing it, because we can see how just by in this pose he's serious, but don't cross me, but then he raises the lower eyelids, so we can have these facial expressions like a bit worried, and the eyebrows as well, they raise up a bit, so they get more, you get more of a worried facial. So you change the expression really slightly, but enough so we can feel the emotion truly. So you don't want to cross me, like a bit worried, like haha, I don't know if I'm pulling it off.
Come back when you've done something.
Love this as well. Notice as well the change on the shoulder line. So notice how first the shoulder is pointing this way, and then boom, change to this way, and then boom to the boom. So they accentuate that peculiarity on her.
Come back when you've done something evil to impress me. He took the stone.
Love this as well. Notice how they wanted to animate a very intense scream. He took the stone. So instead of just stone, the stretch on the face and the arc on the nose and the face, like all of that is there. The stretch, you can see how the face moves on an arc and everything. But on top of that, they animated a bit of vibration, a bit of shake on the head. So yeah, they animated a very slight, with a very small spacing, like couple of frames to one side and couple of frames to the other side, one frame to one side and couple of frames to the other side. So it's not symmetrical shaking, but you have that kind of shaking on the head, so it adds to the animation. See, it's just like it feels like a vibration. It doesn't feel like she's shaking the head, because if you exaggerate it a lot, it's gonna feel weird. But just a very small shaking on the head, it adds to the intensity of the scream. See? love this. Notice how the minion is sitting on the handlebar. Notice how he's not cycling, but actually he's making the movement, the weight shift, as if he actually was driving the bike. So we can see the effort made by him trying to move the bike. See? Like the first time you watch it, you actually feel like he's actually driving the bike, but he's not. But it adds to the animation. It feels great in the animation, because you can see the struggle of them trying to make it move. Great here. Notice how when he jumps, boom. Notice the anticipation down, and boom, jump. Notice how the torso. Notice also the line of action, and notice how the torso get to the pose. It almost finished rotating, and then the legs finish rotating. So you have that overlap in the body, and then the super slow mo. Boom, boom, boom.
Otto, take the stone back to the lair. I'll distract them.
Love, just small detail. Notice how when she pulls the chain, notice how the characters actually also react to that. So it's not just so we actually feel the what happens to the characters when the bike is being stopped. So we can feel the weight of the characters, so it feels real. This as well. Love the so we can actually feel the air just impact on the face of GRU, but actually it's not that complex to do. It's just you need to have a rig that allows it. So what they do is just like make the face wobble, so it's just like in a wave motion. So as this part goes down, the other part is staying there. Then as this part finishes to go down, this part starts to go down, and then the back is there, and then as this part starts to come up again, the last part starts to go down. So it's like a wave motion all the time, like the air pushing back, squashing the face back and forth. Same with the eyebrows. You can feel it's not that much. We can see how the eyebrows raise and down, 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 raise. And when on the you can see also the head shakes a little bit. So it's not just staying there, but it has a bit of shaking. And the lips and the mouth, you can see how it's not just up and down, but we can see the wave motion happening on the lips. So as the energy flows to one side, continues to the other side. So see how the energy flows up here, then here, then here. So here, 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 here. So you have that wave motion on the lips. It's not just moving randomly, but all the parts of the face feel connected.
This is the biggest day of my life. This kid just stole something from the worst villains in the world. Time to strike. Now I will be a super villain.
Great line of action. Look at this pose. Great pose. The line of action flowing from the leg to the face. The silhouette. We can clearly see all the parts of the body. Notice the negative space. We can see the fingers. The hands are relaxed as well. So everything feels very natural.
Now all I need is Otto.
Love the acting of just looking for Otto, like pointing, like where is Otto? Notice also the fingers, like where is? So first the secondary action, like moving the fingers, like then pointing, where is Otto? Notice how first he points to the left where he's looking, then he points to the right, and then he looks to the right, and then he points a bit to the left and looks to the left. So he's actually looking almost with the finger. It's not leading with the eyes or with the face, it's leading with the finger. So you can see how you can change which part of the body is leading the action. As long as it feels correct, it feels natural, and is appealing in the animation, it's good.
Where is Atto?
Sí. Punya poso para ti la pata.
Are you pulling on my legs right now? Atto, where's the stone?
Love the acting here. So he takes the stone down, like looking at him on the eyes, although the stone is not in front of him, but it's like, get it away from me, where is the stone? And when he asks where is the stone, notice the eye dart down, like he's looking at him, but we say where is the stone, so he actually looks down at him, like trying to find the stone, like where is the stone, where is the stone? So acting wise is really well done. It's not just staring at him, but as he says the key points of the dialogue, like where is the stone, he eye darts, he makes an eye dart to his body, like trying to find the stone.
Atto, where's the stone?
Big storia. Porca li tondruf, quando le pari mene. Yemako paki berger. La papituarel. Oh no, la partida, la bola. Basta el amigo, no le puedo stopar. Bahu, la gueta. Papagato, parenti.
Love this as well. Notice how when the duck is just flying, the point of the extreme point where he's gone the furthest he can, we can see the perfect line of action, perfectly straight line of action from the arm to the neck of the duck. So you have that contrast from here, then you can see how the line of action changes. So you have that boom as the duck tries to fly away, so the body moves up, you have that fluid S shape on the line of action, then straightens a bit again, although creating a reversal on the line of action, and then the duck tries to fly again, so you get that again, the body goes up again as the wings go down, and then as the minion starts to fall, you can see this perfectly fluid line of action from the face to the arm of the minion. So you can see all the time how they treat really carefully the line of action, so it's always really fluid and nice.
E la punella. Oh la la, le pelo bellissimo. La chiruto.
Love the transition as well. Notice how they go from this, boom, and then as he's actually thinking about it, the transition is beautiful, and boom. Love also how he shows the stone again to him, like boom. You have that he shows it and back a bit, so you have that look at the stone. It's not just getting to the post, but that extra settle to the left adds a lot, because it feels like he's shaking it, like look the stone, even though it's just a settle, but they exaggerate it a tiny bit more, so it moves a bit more to the left, so it's more like he's actually shaking a bit the stone to show him.
Topissimo, no?
Look.
Topissimo, no? Topissimo, no? Topissimo, no?
Did you just trade my future for a pet rock?
Love as well the line of action here. For a bad rock, notice the change. For a bad, you have that straight line of action as anticipation. For a bad, notice how the fist finishes to go up, and then boom, for a bad rock. For a bad rock. Notice the shake on GRU. For a bad rock. So notice how many times when they want to exaggerate the dialogue, the intensity of what he's saying, they actually shake the head of the character.
See?
Oh, I didn't mean.
Love the way they all come together, like oh. And actually it's all overlapped. It's not just all getting to the post at the same time, but some of them get to the post first, and then the other ones.
Oh, I didn't mean to scare you.
Love me to
Didn't mean
scare
to scare
you.
To scare you.
Notice how they accentuate the scare you with her opening the lids, so it's accentuated with the lids opening and the face as well, and the head as well. But notice how they actually accentuate it with the lids, so it feels more connected to the dialogue.
To scare you. To
scare you.
See how they
To scare
scare
you.
you? They scare
I
you.
mean to scare you.
They use the
I
blink.
didn't scare you. I didn't mean to scare. Oh, I didn't mean to scare.
I didn't mean. So I didn't mean is actually blinking very fast. I didn't mean to scare you. And scare you, she's opening the eyes. So you see how you can accentuate the dialogue in many different ways.
I didn't mean to scare you. Now, where's GRU?
And love this as well.
Where's GRU?
Notice how snappy the facial changes, but
Where's GRU?
it works. It doesn't feel abrupt, because even though it's very snappy, it's boom boom, then change, like opening the eyes very intensively, the stretch on the face. But you can see how she gets to the pose, boom boom boom, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. You have 7 frames almost, like more or less. So you have 7 frames more or less where the face and the body keeps moving to the right. So it doesn't feel like she has hit a wall, but it feels like
Where's GRU?
you can feel the fluidity of the animation.
Where's GRU?
Like you have that settle, that slow into the pose with a very very small spacing, but for a longer amount of frames.
Where's GRU? Where's GRU?
Well, that was it. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a lot. And if you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments. Thumbs up, subscribe, and until the next animation analysis.